What is going on, warriors? It is your boy Shin Ryu, and it is time for another Street Fighter Duel video. I promised you guys I was going to make this video a long time ago. At least it's been a couple of weeks, if not a few months here. But this is a video that I've been talking about because of several individual cues that I sort of had across the board that I felt like are easily overlooked unless you sort of really pay attention. They're not as obvious as 3 PRs and 6 PRs for the guards and all these regular tips that I sort of giving out here and there in terms of like what I typically do, some of which are definitely important, others which are just more or less like a thing that kind of works for me in terms of like mindset, just to give me that sort of like confidence, and not just confidence but that comfort, especially when I do not get the sort of reward that I want in terms of like, for example, summoning and all that good stuff. Okay, but these are actually important stuffs that are very easy to miss. All right, very easy to miss. And there are things that if you actually think about it carefully, you actually see the logic behind it, and then from there you can sort of like go right ahead and freestyle and do everything else you want. These are going to be around 5 different topics here. There's probably more, but these are the ones I can kind of think about. Some are long to explain. When I mean long, I don't mean like long like almost hours or several minutes. I just mean like some are going to take more time to explain than the others. So we're going to get into it real quick, okay? But before we actually go right ahead, I remember I wish you guys a happy Valentine's Day in my previous video. I was obviously so excited about hitting 200, 200, right off the bat like that, and that I did not throw the codes that are available. So there are 2 codes that are available today. First of all, it's Valentine's Day, so the dads have been nice enough to give us, some Valentine's Day gifts. All right, I'm going to be putting the code on the splash out. So I go right ahead and type it shortly. There's definitely 2 of them right now. First of them being SFD Day, just Valentine's Day, with all the ladies and all that good stuff, just all that nice whatever, as you can see on the splash screen of my previous video. All right, the second one obviously is it's Ken's birthday. It's Loverboy's Day. All right, born on February 14th. All right, who would have thought, or kind of whatever, but of course I've always known. So it's his day as well. So we also have a code for Ken as well on his birthday, and that code is going to be SFD loves Ken. Okay, just SFD loves Ken. You obviously know that how Ken is actually popular in North America and that kind of stuff. Ryu's to my guy, but Ken is a close second. Like, I don't not mess with Ken, right? But after this, right now that we actually put that in there, let's go right ahead and put the codes in. Get the confirmation, see how many gems we get, and of course see the legitibility or legitness, however you want to call it, whatever English you guys like to say. And we're going to put that code in. So first of all, we're going to start with Ken's birthday. So we're going to do SFD loves, so it's with a U and then Ken. Remember guys, we've tried this many times. These stuffs are not case sensitive at all, so you do not have to worry about if you're putting the capital letters. I used to sort of like have this sort of like OCD where I still put the caps wherever I thought it was necessary, but screw that. We're going to put it the best way that it works. Okay, it's 2024 guys. The other one obviously is SFD Day. Now it's Vals Day, it's not a birthday, so I'm actually curious to see how much gems I actually get from this. So we're going to go right ahead and confirm this. Same 200 gems, not bad. It's an anniversary, it's a birthday, whatever. It happens February 14th. Somebody's birthday from some story where some lovers, I don't know what happened. You know the rest of the drill, right? But we're pretty much done with all the fancy stuff right now. So now it's time for some serious tips. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Some tips are not going to be applicable to everyone, but at some point it's going to be applicable to you. Okay, so the first one out there, I've mentioned this more recently, but I wanted to make sure that I had a specific video that sort of addresses all these tips, because I'm sure some of these tips have been mentioned vaguely or in details here and there in several videos in the past. But let's go over to the first one right now. The first one has to do with once you have a roster that looks like this. All right, let's not go to this portion here. Let's go to Awakening, kind of like the best way to look at it. When you have so much roster, you already maxed out characters, you're already having several maxed out versions of the B team, right? Hopefully for future food and that kind of stuff. Obviously, which sucks when it comes to, for example, special these characters that are like in the same whatever, but you can maybe, for example, instead of maybe using B, like A plus to combine with them, you can make it S plus. It's obviously more expensive, but It's a gamble. It's not going. No one's going to get S plus quickly. But you know what I'm trying to talk about. But the real cue I'm trying to give right here is this. Let's go faction by faction, and I'm going to try and show some examples. That's why I'm glad I have some tokens to showcase this. All right. Obviously, this is not going to be applicable when it comes to the A frags. All right. Or I don't think it's applicable to the invitational gems as well. But the ones that required you to work with the wish list, that's where it actually works. Okay. So you're going to notice that once you start maxing out your characters, for example, in the wind faction, there is nobody that doesn't. There's the only people that actually do need extra characters to max out are the likes of these three characters over here. So we can see El Fuerte, we can see T-Hawk, and we can also see Yang, right, in the picture there. The rest of everyone else is maxed out. But you would also notice that we do have a couple of onesies. Like they're not completely maxed out. So we have, like, instead of us having like an A plus, we just have A's across the board, right? This is one of the things that you want to start paying attention to. Okay, when you start noticing your A's, you have to note all your A's, the ones that are not like A pluses. And when I mean the A's, I'm talking about characters that are yet to be completed. In the case of Thunder, we do have the likes of Mummy Dalzim and Suitable. And of course, Flame is one of the ones that I sort of have my weakest, like my weakest, character lineup, in that we still have a lot of people that need to be built up to the fullest. So I think we still have a full 5 team that need to be filled up, so you don't have to worry about that situation right now. Easiest way to also actually look at this is to go into the draw itself, and we're going to use faction recruit, a very, very good example to showcase this, because we can actually focus on the faction and not worry, for example, about the flame faction. All right, so we can focus on thunder and we can focus on wind. All right, so let's look at what we're talking about here. You're going to get to the point where when you're filling your slots up, you're definitely already having maxed out characters, right? Like you have Cammy, you have Gal, and over here you can see in the Thunder, I actually have 3 characters that are maxed out, and of course in the wind, in the Flame faction, not they're actually okay, because every one of them they still require at least one more star for it to be maxed out. Oh, you know what? Apologies there. We have Sea Viper as the last person who actually just takes the slot there. But I'm going to explain what you want to be doing in these cases here, which I've done before if you guys don't remember. All right. The first thing is, typically while you're building up your character, you encourage to not just stick up these kind of players here, especially when you don't have them on minimum S plus, right? You're expected to sort of like maybe use like the regular bees, add them so you can at least have food that can quickly be used to max out your characters as you also combine with bees. But once you are in this level right now where the minimum you have is S plus, those foods become useless. Okay, so now you have to decide, do you want to leave this slot empty, which makes absolutely no sense, right? Because it's not going to work. They tell you that it's more likely to work if the entire list is filled out. Okay, and ever since I did this trick, you guys have been seeing some of my summoning videos, I've been getting good pulls. Like, I'm guaranteed a good pull, and I'll tell you why I'm guaranteed a good pull. Okay, what you want to do instead is, like I mentioned before, you want to look. Let's go to the wind faction, for example. I'm actually interested in the thunder faction because of Suitable, but let's go to the wind faction first to make sure that we at least have that covered too. We're going to go to the wind faction, and all we're going to care about when you go under Awaken is to look for characters that still need one more pair. Okay, because your wish list guarantees that whatever character you put in there is going to be the one that is going to actually be generated. All right, so now we have Chun-Li and Gao, the two people that were in there before. If we put Chun-Li and Gao there, if we went for a wind character, for example, even if we did not put one of these 3 characters, we're going to put one of these guys. And that means we can then pair them up, make them an A plus. They become food, and you can now switch on to the next character who's still a single. All right, we're going to go right ahead and now showcase what I'm talking about here. Okay, so let's go back to the draw. I'm going to go over to the wish list, and then I'm going to go right ahead and add the 2 characters I'm talking about here, which is Gal, despite the fact that he's maxed out, and Chun-Li. Okay, however, like I said before, I am more interested in the Thunder faction. All right, because you just have 2 characters who need to get more, whatever up there. So I'm going to go over here. All right, actually, we're going to close out. We're going to go to the faction recruit, and we're going to go right ahead, and we're going to Make sure that it's on Thunder. It's actually on Thunder already, so we don't have to make any changes. Okay. I don't want to do anyone with the regular tokens, but I will try and do at least. I will try and do at least three. If three trip yards is gonna be what? It's gonna be 90. That's a lot. So I'm gonna do two trippy hours, meaning at least we're gonna get a guaranteed pool with the regular faction, so we can show consistencies, right? Even and also just establish when you are dealing with the general token, where you don't have the choice of the faction you want to select, right? But let's go right here. Right now we're on Thunder. We're gonna go try and do our trippy hour here and see if we. Last time I pulled on. I actually pulled guaranteed, so I know that it's gonna be within the next three ones. It could be the first, it could be the second, it could be the third, but we're going to try ahead and try and pull right now. Okay, so we're going to pull our first 10, and this is what is going to happen once you eventually get a pull. So let's look at how it goes for now. First one here, obviously not a guaranteed pull, so we're going to let all this one slide real quick here. I'm going to draw again. Like I said before, the last pull I had before this Catalan pull here, I had this guaranteed pull, so we're going to get our pull here. Oh my bag is full, no problem. Let's confirm. Let's go right ahead and clear some bags. We shouldn't. So if it's full, what's going on here? Okay, you know what? Let's just go right ahead and let's see if we can do some random mix ups here. So let's go to fighters. Oh my word! So you see what I'm talking about? This is why this is extremely important. I'm going to do right ahead and do this whatever here. Let's see. When do we have anybody that can actually start something? Okay, let's use We got 222. So who's in multiples for now? We're gonna start with Ibuki. All right. So let's just go with these two, whatever here. Awaken. Cool. And get Ibuki a second pair. This time around, I don't care about Oh wait a minute. We don't have enough anymore. Really? Okay, so we only just have these two, so we don't have enough for now. That's cool. So we'll go over to Thunder. Let's see if there's anyone here. So right now we have Dan is just only a single copy, so I think we're working on Dan already. And don't we have like an S plus Dan or something? I guess we don't. We're gonna just go right ahead and just use Dan, get at least another A plus. All right. Cool. And then we're going to do this again, but he should be okay with getting within himself. Now, the most interesting one is going to be my flame faction. This is obviously a bit of a of a little lag, because I would have loved to have made sure this stuff was cleared out, but it's kind of tough to keep up with this. I'm going to go with Relento still. Just going to use Relento. I think I'm quite confident that Relento is one that needs the love. And we're going to go right ahead and do one more quick summon. You got Relento there. All right, so we're good. We should have at least a little bit of space for more characters right now. So now we're going to go right ahead and go to our draw, because we're already on the third point. We should be getting a guaranteed pool over here. We need to make sure that our choice faction recruit is still on Thunder. And it's still on Thunder, right? Yeah, it's on Thunder. So we're going to go right ahead and we're going to draw this last one, so we get a guaranteed pool here. Now watch what happens. There we go. If we have more than one character, that was superb, but we only have, we get the one. I get Mummy Dolls in. This is actually what has been happening. For some reason, when they know that the combination is just right, all I've been getting, you guys have been seeing in some of the posts, some of the videos I put out there, because I've been practicing that, I've been getting actual characters. It's kind of insane. I'm going to go right ahead and just share this real quick with nobody, obviously. And then we're going to confirm. All right. And now we can obviously go back and we get, I guess that's a faction recruit. I'm not sure. We're going to go right over to the Awaken again. We're going to do a quick Awaken. And now we got Mummy Dolls in, ready to go one level up closer to 5 stars. Okay. Now this is the first bit. Obviously we're in control, right? But here's the thing. Because we did not pull any one of, let's go over to the actual draw, because that's like I could just show you this even more, properly. All right, the wish list here. We didn't pull any of Mad Ryu, Blanca, and Poison. All right, if we had pulled one of these characters, what's going to happen is they become a duplicate, they become A plus. We get them sorted, we get them out. That's pretty much it. The only time this can actually bite us back is if we do get like 2 pulls of the same character who needs to be paired up, right? It just means we're going to have to wait and pair them up again, which is kind of rare because, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So now we are now left with regular pulls, okay? I'm going to try and make sure we can aim for just 2 pulls because I want to showcase, even in the general, we're still in control, okay? So let's go over to the first one right now. It would be nice if this is like a, you know, general, like, the guaranteed pull. So we know we only have to do like 4, but it's not. We're going to go right ahead. We're going to pull again. So it looks like we actually got like we're kind of like on a perfect line for now. So now we're going to have the actual pull itself. Okay, obviously here we don't know what we're going to be getting, be it Thunder, Flame. Now we have 2. Okay, now look at what we're getting here. We have Yang and we have Mad Ryu. Okay, these are 2 characters that I actually have on my wish list here. Now let's go right ahead. Let's confirm. All right, now I'm going to go back. Okay, and you can see, oh my God, yeah, we're in that mode right now. This is exactly why this is important. Otherwise, you guys are going to have to choke on Dojo characters and we'll be stuck with not being able to build up characters, right? So obviously we can start working on having duplicates, also getting higher tiers. This is something I can do off the board, but look at this right now. What we've done is we've now gotten Mad Ryu off the list of the so-called single brothers, right? He's not a single guy anymore. And of course, Yang, Yang rather, is one of the guys that needs to be maxed out, right? So we're going to go right ahead and we're going to max him out to 5 stars. 5 stars means extra gem in the bag as well. Don't forget that is also a win for us. That is the first pull. We're going to go with the second guaranteed pull. So another 3, I guess. And if we're lucky, maybe it's the first of the next 3 or 2 of the next 3. But typically, I don't know if it's 3 by 3 by 3 or it's just within the next 3 it comes up, and then we'll figure it out for sure. But now we're going to go right ahead and we're going to now look in the pairing here. Obviously we know that Yang is not going to have a spare, so we're going to be removing, we need to replace Yang, who we got in Wind, and we need to replace Mad Ryu, who we got in Thunder. We can go with the next person as able. Safe, we can just go accordingly in terms of whatever. And for Thunder, the next person who's like a single guy out there right now, we already have Poison and Blanca. We can put, for example, Combat Guile. Okay, so let's go back over to our wish list. Always important as soon as you make that particular pull to switch up immediately. And we're going to go right ahead and bounce Yang. Okay, when bouncing Yang, because it doesn't have any spare, we need to put someone that actually has a spare. And we're going to put Able in his place, okay? In the Thunder faction, Mad Ryu already completed his spare, which is the good example I'm looking for. So both the case where you complete the actual lineup and you don't need to have any spare anymore, plus one of the ones that you have spares and you want to just cover that up. But then we're going to put someone, who do we Combat Guile, right? It's going to get to the point, obviously, when, eventually everyone's spare is maxed out. At that point in time, what I would recommend is, if you want to have a duplicate character for the time being until they find a solution to this, which I'm hoping is part of what Anniversary is going to kind of like resolve. Maybe, for example, you can break it to some sort of fragment size. You know how we have chaotic starlight fragments? We can actually break existing ones to regular fragments for regular, whatever. Just a lot of stuff I can think about. That will probably be a video in terms of like my wish list for certain issues that are sort of like bothering. I think I've had one before. We just, I'm not sure if I created anything. It's been a while, but we have replaced these 2 characters right now, and now we can go right ahead and confidently pull again. Like I said, what I've noticed that I'm getting people that actually need to max out, and if not, I just am clearing out the board in terms of like the spares. And I'll tell you guys something. Ever since I discovered this, and I'm pretty sure I've had at least up to 8 pulls since then, this is the first time I had to duplicate in terms of like these 5-star characters here. And what does that mean? That means I'm maxing out these guys quicker. That's when I said step up with El Fuerte, all these other guys. I could have been doing this since, and I could have been way better than what I am right now. But for those of you who are either just approaching this or you're already just at that point, but it's not yet detrimental, you have so many single units, all that kind of stuff, it's a good time to start, right? So now we're going to go right ahead and start making the next set of pulls. Go with the first one. If it gives us a guarantee, that'll be nice, but it's TPR. And I'm always worried that whenever we do TPR live, after we just finished collecting one, it tends to exhaust the entire 3 slots. So We're going to wait for the next third one right now, and this is going to be the last pull. I would do obviously a lot of these once anniversary hits because I want to make sure that any nice character out there gets pulled. Don't forget, you can always get that Master Inferno character. Look at that. Whenever it's time for me to get that final pull, it's always blocked somewhere. So we're going to go right ahead and we're going to go to our fighter again. Too many fighters, it's not my fault. You guys find a system in which you can actually give these fighters to someone else. All right, and we're going to go right ahead and awaken existing characters. Cool. So we only need to do one more pull, so nothing to be frenzied about. But although remember the card I got, the factional card. I don't know if it's factional or invitational. We're gonna figure out which it is. If it's invitational, we keep it. If it's factional, we use it. And then I want to see if that actually ties up to the wish list as well. I think it does. But let's go back to the draw. This should be a guaranteed draw right now. We just don't know what it's gonna be. So let's see right here. Boom, we got a guaranteed draw. Let's see who pops out this time. We get Sea Viper, all right? Now, if we go over right now, obviously, we have Sea Viper maxed out. You might want to, I didn't want Sea Viper. But look at this right now. We got Sea Viper here. We go back to our Awaken, and we have someone to Awaken. Guess what it is? It's Sea Viper. Sea Viper is cleared out of the flame duplicates right now. Now, who's next? We got Dowsing, who's next. We need to figure out who is actually on the list. Okay, so we'll go over to the draw, check your wish list. We know Sea Viper is out there right now. I remember we spotted out Dalzim needing to be added on there. So now we can go right ahead and add Dalzim as the next guy to be sorted out on his lack of duplicates. And why are duplicates important? Because they can easily become food, because you also use them to make other characters. Whatever way you want to go about flexing this stuff up, they are important in that kind of stuff. So this is very, very easy to overlook, easy to not even consider, easy to undermine, but the truth of the matter is this: it is the best way to maximize your roster, in that once you have this set up, you either find out that you're not getting the characters who need to be maxed out a lot quicker. That's how I got my suit able to pop out as quickly as good. Of course, I had help with the A-Frag there as well, but that was one of the key spots. And of course, secondly, for those characters that are just like onesies, you can easily clear them out, and then when there's one final character or two final characters or three final characters, depending on how many slots you have that is free, you can now decide who your three favorite characters are in terms of regular factions. You can actually even make it one from each faction, whatever, until when you're actually completely maxed out. And then you can now decide to just make duplicates of those characters, so that way when you're doing things like Shadowless City events and you need those kind of characters and you kind of lose one, you can replace them with the next one. Just another way to just kind of like get out of jail without having to do resurrection or that kind of stuff. So that is what I want to discuss with regards to setting up your wish list for summoning. That took a long time. Like I said, this is one of those videos that I like really long. The rest should not be as long, but if it is, we're going to see how it is. I'm going to make sure I put time stamps as well, so that way you guys can know which one you think is interesting to you. But I would highly suggest you watch all of them. You don't have to watch them at a go if it's kind of tough. Watch them at intervals and enjoy the video, enjoy the show. All right, so now for the next one here, this is another one this one totally eluded me. I don't know if I actually eluded one before. I can't remember if I've ever watched any hint on how to set up, Fighting Heart, and if I'd done anything right or if I just kind of overlooked it, right? The thing is this: I'm just going to come out and just be blunt. This is what typically I did and a lot of people do when it comes to Fighting Heart. You're going to look at this 5, okay? And you're going to say, what is my highest priority? You guys already know what mine is. You can see the numbers there. It's Assassins. Obviously, it's going to be based on the character you find yourself using a lot. But here's the thing: that is the wrong approach. That should not be the primary approach. That should actually be the secondary approach. The primary approach is you want to make sure that, because you're going to be using at least one character from every faction, you want to make sure that you set one particular level playing field and make it started quickly. And I'm glad I have one of them that is completely lacking. I have mentioned it briefly before, but this is going to be the in-depth details right now. If we go to my Assassins, you can see here, I have them at 3 all across the board. Okay? That's nice. That's fancy. All right. Go to my, Oh, okay, through here, go to like something like either tank or attack. I have them throw across the board. Go to something like, support, which I recently just worked on. I have 2 and 1. But here's the thing: these are not the important stuff, because guess what? All this value here, this is my 45 here. All I've done is I've increased it from 50, from let's see, 40% to 44%, just extra 4%, and I've exhausted so much, feed gems just to get to 44%. That's not effective. Okay, what you want to do is you want to get that base, which is this one right here. You see how over here you need to get to a certain level to unlock, these first 2 levels. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you unlock the 3rd level for every single one of these gems, and then after that you can then start working on your preferred gem. Guess what's happening here right now? Whenever I use someone like um let's look for a popular character like B Zangief or Sagat, right? And I'm missing out on entering the battle, and the first action skill that I use giving me 8% of damage bonus and damage reduction for 15 seconds. Do you understand what that is? 8% of damage bonus. This is something that we typically want to look for in terms of boosts. And we consider it a good thing when we actually have either a assist character granting us this boost or a buff granting us this boost. This is massive, right? But guess what happens? If you go and you focus on something like this, for example, and you go all the way to level 4, all you've gotten is an extra 1.5 damage bonus. Okay? But before your 1.5, you're missing out on 8 just for ignoring this. The real number is the base number here. Everything you get after the base number is bonus, right? You can't even get up to twice the number that you're going to get by maxing out your levels. But by just missing out on maxing out 1 level, you've missed out on 8% of this. Imagine that's what I was going through with my support as well. Because I did strangely, I missed out on the extra support combo gauge. For if I'm facing other opponents, even if I had Bizangief there, they're likely to be faster than me unless I just have a super fast team and they have a super slow team. If we have the same team, they will still beat me out for speed, because the combo gauge is going to fill up by 150% just because they have a support character that when they get knocked out, they get that bonus. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So these are the kind of things that you want to look out for. You want to make sure that you are fulfilling the criteria all the way to level 25 of each one of this. Or rather, you want to make sure that you hit level 25 of every one of these factions. And once you hit level 25, you can then now start focusing on your preferred faction, whichever one you think needs more, whatever. Because what's going to happen is your preferred faction is just going to have a little bit extra. So look at this right now. Having 25 means you're on 2-2-1. Okay, I have 45 for my assassins. Okay, here's what I'm getting here. For 2-2-1 means I've gained extra 1-1-2 in this case here. So what I would have lost is, instead of being on 44%, I'll be on 42%. Still 10 seconds, extra 2%. That's not as much as if I didn't have the 40% from the start. You get what I'm trying to say? So imagine if you didn't even level them at all, you're missing out on 40%. Let's look at the second one right here. Okay, this one right here is also a 2 that you'll be on. So meaning you're only going to miss in 1. 17% dodge versus 16% dodge. That is 1% that I'm missing out on, but I have put so much fate gems to pushing it to this level. You're going to push so much fate gems to push this level, you're missing out on, for example, a possible 15% from the start, just for 1 extra percent. You see what I'm talking about here? This one here, I would obviously be on 1 because I missed out on 2, but guess what? It is 10% crit rate. What have I gained between those two? 1% crit rate and 2 speed. That's all I've gained. But if I did not even actually push this 25 at all, I don't have 20 speed, I don't have 10 crit rate. That is a whole lot more than 1% and 2 speed extra. So what am I trying to say here? No matter what faction you've prioritized the most, that's why I'm going gung-ho on these guys right now, because I can't afford to start resetting and losing gems. It's too much, right? It's too much. Unless you can afford it. If you can afford it and you see yourself way behind than I am. For example, you've just not even given two factions at all any sort of boost or whatever. If you find yourself in that sort of situation, yeah, especially when it's that far out, maybe you want to reset it. It's a few. You can only you can decide to reset your highest base one, because your highest base one will have a whole lot of fate gems, which is just going to be 300, and they can now share it across the three. Obviously, your highest will suffer and not be the priority if you actually end up spending too much. But the thing is, you're going to end up spreading the love, and chances are they might need one more, so your highest might end up being the highest. But the point I'm trying to make is this: make sure you are on 25 across the board first before you start to push. If somebody else has put it out there before, that's actually great. As a creator, I try as much as possible not to consume too much. I do consume some, actually those that are more or less like a freestyle, whatever. But it was something about their own ideas that seemed a bit more specific, that it's almost going to be exclusive to them because of their way of thinking. I try not to watch it too deep in, because I don't want to make sure that I'm unconsciously dropping pointers that belong to someone else, even if it's not really a thing, because they found something I missed out on. I actually prefer that I have something, you find it here, then you watch someone else's video, and then you find something niche there as well. That way everyone's channel is very, very valuable across the board, right? So that's why I don't know if this has been addressed in this particular manner before, but this is me dishing it to you right now. However late it is, my bad, I'm sorry about it, but I've been throwing this about with hints recently. This is the detailed version right now. And so we have dealt with this one here. The next one I'm going to talk about here, this one is going to be really short. If you guys are not doing this already, start doing it now, okay? This is with regards to the guild. And nope, this is not where I want to go to. I want to go to, let's see here. Hold on. Why am I confused over here? Where do I see? I think I'm doing the wrong stuff here. Let's see, is it? Yeah, the dojo. My bad. I just kind of went all over the place. The dojo here, okay? Now, if you guys see where I'm at right now, I'm on 199, okay? One thing I've noticed that if you're in the dojo, people might not have the patience to actually go and collect stuff from their friends. The first thing I would just say is this: I don't know. Once I hit 200, I'm going to try it out. If once I hit 200, I start collecting from my own, little minions over here, and if the minions are giving me the good stuff, the full capacity, and it's great. Because what I've noticed that some people, for example, who've always been in the close to the highest level that you can ever attain. So, for example, let's look at this 6 months ago. Maybe the highest you could be was 120, right? Those who are on the 120 will give you the maximum amount of the reward you will receive. Say, for example, if it's gems, it's going to be like 100 gems, something like that. Those who are not up to that 120, okay, or not close enough, will now give you half of those gems, okay? And if you're an account that is not like, for example, a Will or an early player who's been consistent or right up there with the highest number, whatever. I don't even know about that one yet. I don't know if you actually have to collect from, your neighbor. I'm going to confirm that once, I get to 200. But if you find yourself with friends that have like this high, whatever, always go for the guys with the highest numbers, guys. So for example, like Santi here right now, if I want to collect whatever, tomorrow will be a good time to do it, but it's easy to just, describe this. I'll go to him and pick one of the characters who's holding the boxes, and I'll pick the gem here. Because if you collect from yourself, especially when you're not among the top percentile, you're going to be getting half the gems. And if you're lazy, you're like, you know what, who is first? Omega Cannon is first. Shout out to Omega, for example, grinding his way up to the top. Or the first watcher who's doing his thing as well. But if I just decide to just not scroll and look for my 200s, for example, I just kind of pick like the next best thing because I'm just lazy, you're also going to get half the reward. But you want to make sure you're getting as much gems, as much, frags, the A frags, the B frags, whatever, as much, those purple, whatever, stones as possible. So the only way you can actually achieve that is by going to the character with the highest level here. Okay, whenever I have to my next recording, I'll just use the chance just to case it, but I'm sure you guys can visualize it. That's just a tip over here. go for the guys that have the highest number. So right now it's 200, 200, 200. I always go based on rank. So if, for example, I was out of 200, I'll go for who is next on the list. I won't just go to 198. Maybe there's 199 or something. I'll go for 199 first, okay? But of course, 198 and 199 are close, so you're not going to miss out on it. But I don't like to risk it because unless you know what the max level is, you really can't be sure. Now, the only thing I just really need to confirm is if I hit 200 right now, do I still start going to collect from my friends, or will I get the full stuff? Now, for B frags, for money, which is 150k, B frag is typically 30, and then for gems, I believe it's 100. That's typically the max I can collect. If I find myself collecting something like 50, or lesser than those numbers, when I try and collect for myself once I hit 200, then it's an official don't collect from yourself. For now, I'm not sure about it because I'm on the top higher numbers. So I've just built myself close to 200 right now. So that's the part of the whatever. Very short, very, very negligible because you're only getting a few 50 gems per day. But look at it per day. If you go across it for a month, that's 50 like times 30. That's about 1500, right? 1500 gems compared to you getting like 3k gems when you could have just been patient and gotten the full stuff. So that's just what I'm talking about here. Is this the last one here? The fourth one here is your limit break slots. This is just almost like a no-brainer, and it's also very minor. This one has little to no detriments apart from the fact that when you have a new character that you're interested in, now you don't know if you have to bounce somebody, or you have to wait for someone to, 48 hours to be able to free a slot. Because if I try and free this slot right now, okay, I'm going to have to wait for 20 hours before I can actually re-add another character. And that kind of patience, some people probably burn that, is it 50 gems or whatever gems, to just add it right away. I don't like that kind of stuff. So what you want to do typically is you either want to make sure that you have a minimum of 2 free slots, and as you get more and more of this wind or master or inferno, it doesn't say master, wind or thunder or flame, you're going to realize that one person needs to miss out. You're not going to be using one person as much as you are before anymore. If we look at the wind faction right now, that person for me is actually Cammy. But sometimes it feels like it's useful, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not desperate to get new slots right now, so I'm not going to bounce her, right? But in case where, for example, I have no free slots and that's what I'm left with, I'm going to have to take her out, right? Or I'll look for a different faction here, in this case Thunder. So that's sort of falling off the pecking order right now. Honestly, Thunder, I kind of circulate them across the board, but once Suitable comes in, somebody's got to go, right? Because you can't use all of them. That's the truth. You can't use all of them. The only time you can use them is when it comes to all this, like, Shadow City events, and anything that has to do with you using characters that are more specific to certain modes compared to other modes, right? And the same occurs across the board. The other thing you can do at the bare minimum, but then again, like I said, sometimes you get a surprise hit, is in the case of special characters, right? Or any division character. With division characters, no matter how much you do, you can't get them up to speed immediately unless you are paid. And if you're paid, then you don't have this problem with the limit break with all the spaces here. Is once you see a character right now, for example, Vega's been renounced right now. If you don't have a slot for him, you don't have to wait till when you get a copy of him to actually release that slot. Release a slot right away. That way, once his time is available, you put him in there, because some characters are going to be viable from A+, right? Some will need all the way their fighting spirit, and then some will need all their garage. Just depends on what character you're dealing with, but you can't know for sure when you test them unless you actually have them up to speed with regards to the maximum level that you're supposed to be in. So that is something you want to think about as well. Make sure that you guys are sparing the slots for sure. And then the last but not the least, okay, this one is a trick I've talked about before. This is what you call preparing for the future. This has to do with the garage. It's another place where you have to set up wish lists. All right. And how do you set your wish list up? Right. You go to your workshop, get your wish list here, and then you have characters right here. Okay. If you're new, then what you want to do is you want to prioritize six slots to current characters that you're hoping to get their cards as soon as possible. Okay. And then you want to now leave 2 For future characters, that typically these characters would be in the special summon pool or in divination pools that will take time to sort of max them out to triple S. But by the time you get them triple S, you can then put their stuff in there. One good example is Rose and um, Jury. I didn't do that for Jury. I did it for Rose. Rose is on triple S right now. She's got all her cars. Drew, on the other hand, she's still waiting here and struggling. She shouldn't be on this list. She should have been sorted out already. We know that at some point we're going to get a triple S if we're collecting, because there are some events where you're like going to definitely get a copy every other month, right? For Jury, it's almost every month because her own points are easier to save. For um, Rose, it's about the same period. Except that Rose's stuff kind of resets almost immediately. So you always feel like as if you're missing out every day because you can actually get her. Whales don't suffer that because you can always get her right off the bat without having to worry about spending any extra gems. But the point I'm trying to say is that don't just worry about packing all those characters. You got your characters on triple S. Let's put every single triple S character on the list. No, create a few slots, 1, 2, or 3, for future characters I know that are important to you. So there are some of you out there right now, you guys are working on Trendy Akuma, right? Some of you are working out there on Taos Gen. Those characters I know that you definitely have to grind your way to actually get them triple S. Make sure that by the time you get triple S, like what I did and what I showcased to you guys, like Avery, for example, and every other character out there that I put, by the time they're out there, let's use Oni for example, all right? Oni, as you guys know, I'm pretty close. I only need one more character in Oni to get him to triple S. Just one more character, so I'm very close. But look at my vehicle warehouse right here. Akuma was supposed to be on the list as well. It's already sorted out. Jen on the list too. But look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Without even having to use those silver chests. Once I get him triple S, boom, all his garage is in there right from the start. So I'm not even testing a triple S character with 1 star, with no star, but I'm testing with 2 stars. But for you to actually get that, you have to start from the beginning, despite the fact I know that you are 1 slot short from regular cards that you have. Especially the fact that you're going to actually get to the point where even this character that you already have that are triple S, you're probably not going to care about using them because you already have your priorities on the other characters that are out there. So these are the things out there that you have to understand how important they are. They are very, very important when it comes to actually maximizing your squad. And that's why the moment I got Ivry triple S, bam, Gokin triple S, bam. You're just going to see my character with 2 stars right away. Rose with triple S, bam, 2 stars. The only people that you won't see with 2 stars are people that I don't really prioritize yet, because I feel like I'm going to go for other people. For example, I would have loved to prioritize, Rich E Hunter, but my priority right now is going towards Trendy Akuma. This is someone I'm looking to actually build on, and maybe after that, then we have to see what Vega has to come with. Sasuke comes first. I might actually even still have to go focus on Akuma, but Akuma already has the 6 cards, so it's not even a problem at all. So that's what you have to think about as well. These are very, very niche. They're very, very negligible. They're tips that you don't think you need, but once you absolutely do them, you're just going to realize that your account is a lot more efficient. You look at free-to-play players and you wonder why some free-to-play players have accounts like this. Look at my master list, right? Yeah, I know I only have like 2 triple A's, but these are dope triple A's. I've got 2 on S plus, on S, and and there's some around the corner that I know we're already working on them as well, and see how it go. Look at my master section as well. We've got 3 AAA characters on master on a free account. Of course, you have people out there who actually have better accounts, but it's because they're more efficient in terms of playing the game than myself. Me, for example, when it comes to progressing across the challenges, I'm very casual. When it comes to playing the high scores, I'm very casual too, right? But when it comes to actually building the characters and all that kind of stuff, that's where I kind of go deep. So even with all that kind of stuff, this is my roster, and look at my Oni right now. 1 pair, 1 free one more, and we're in to go. Okay. As a bonus take, if you guys care about special summon tickets, you know what I'm talking about. If you guys care about special summon tickets, and you're doing your dailies like this, right? Unless you have 30k plus gems or more. Don't be like me. Initially, what I was doing was I was maxing out these gems, getting all three, and I realized I was stagnant over at my actual gems here. Don't be like me. Wait till you actually have at least 30k gems. I know the pressure is not as much. In my own opinion, I didn't wait for 30k. I waited till like I was on 90k, and then that's when I started going back and banging on all three again. And then I exhausted the three. When I exhausted it again, I took a bit, and I wanted to make sure that was correct. I took a bit to not switch straight up to going back to one gem per whatever. I started going for three again. I noticed that it was taking long for it to grow again like before. I was stuck on under five for a long bit. And if anything, I'll go above five, but I'll find myself buying one and then I go right under five again. Once I went back to one, I'm on 18k again. So divination is important too. The what makes special summon ticket really important is if you have characters you really care about in the special summon pool. Right now, once Oni comes out, we're only going to have two that are high priority. The rest are going to be based on their skill if they're really good. For example, if Vega comes out, Trendy Vega, Fashion Vega, whatever it's going to be called, if it comes out and he's actually dope, we definitely have to consider the brother. You know what I'm talking about? But otherwise, 45 minutes, guys. 45 minutes of crazy videos and tips. It's all tips. It's all interesting. You're not going to have a dull or boring one at all. If you're worried about it, don't worry about it. You're going to find yourself listen to every single one of these tips because they are very important. They're highly detailed as well. They are very elaborate in terms of like what you see with great examples. And like I talked about as well, once you're hitting your 5 stars, SS plus 5, I have to call it right now, I'm pretty sure. Claim, boom. There you go. Oh, I should have had one. Oh, you know what? It was only Yang that I got to 5 stars. Mommy Dowsing was just on 4 stars. So my bad on that. But yeah, get extra 400 gems. Better than birthday, gems, right? But still, you know what I'm talking about here. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy the gems. Happy birthday to Ken. Happy Vals to you guys as well. I hope you liked the video as well. If you think it's too long, guys, I need you guys to comment below. If you guys would rather have them in single sections, actually makes more sense for me to go in a single mode because that means I can actually throw 3 video out there and looks like I did a lot of work. But I wanted to make it efficient for you guys. You guys have one video that answers all that question on that underestimated niche. Otherwise, once again, to go about everything, first one covers your wish list in terms of like characters and how you fill out those onesies in terms of like A, instead of them being a pair, like A plus, right? Second one actually goes about, let's not make it boring. First of all, first one, you know what it is, like I mentioned before, you draw, your wish list, get it done. Second one, you know what, I don't want to waste more time on that video. That's just, you guys already know what it is. It's all down in the top right there. I'm just going to just close out right here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell. Like the video if you love it. And if you don't, put your comments right. Let's make this video better and better for you, for all of us. Otherwise, it's been watching Ryu, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.